America, US Senator Lindsey Graham has issued a sharp warning to India, China and Brazil over their purchases of Russian oil. Speaking to Fox News, Graham said President Trump will impose 100% tariffs on countries supporting Putin's war machine. He said these nations must choose between the American economy or backing Russia. Graham accused them of funding Putin through blood money. He warned that Trump will tear the hell out of them economically if they continue. The senator also predicted tough sanctions against Putin and urged him to negotiate or face crushing consequences. Well, strong comments there from Senator Lindsey Graham. Joining us to discuss those, Ambassador Suresh Goel, a former Indian diplomat, joining us live from New Delhi. Ambassador Goel, as always, thank you for being here. Is this rhetoric that we're hearing from Lindsey Graham just a continuation of pressure on Russia by using these third-party nations who purchase Russian oil, or is this a clear threat to those countries and Russia themselves over the war with an eye to a potential ceasefire in Ukraine?
Sorry, I just didn't hear. There was a bit of a disturbance on the line. But from what I understand, the statement made by Senator Lindsey Graham in terms of the oil purchase by China and India. Number one, I think I remember the statement made by one of the heads of state. I think it was Lula, President Lula from Brazil, who said that, yes, we want to have good relations with the USA, but we do not want to have an emperor in Washington. Therefore, if the government of the USA thinks that they control the universe, they are sadly mistaken. Every country will take a decision on their national interest, their objectives in terms of what is best for them. We all make mistakes. We are not perfect, nor is the USA, nor is anyone else. But we'll take our own decisions. I think the days when the world worked on the basis of kings and the tributes is long over. That is by the way, and therefore I think in terms of the language chosen by, unfortunate language chosen by Senator Graham, I do hope that he will be more civil in future. As far as the oil is concerned, it will be useful to really look at the data of oil and energy purchase from Russia. Gas. Europe is the main gas buyer from the USA. And therefore, when you talk about sanctions against Russia, what exactly are they talking about? I don't understand, because Europe will be the first one to suffer from the purchase of gas from not buying gas from Russia. Their energy supplies are going to be very seriously affected. That is number one. Oil. After India and China, European Union and Turkey are the main buyers of oil from Russia. And if they basically want to buy cheap oil, they create sanctions to reduce the price of the oil, not really limit the quantities of oil they will buy, the price. They want to make it below 60.48 so that they can buy cheap oil. Again, double standards. Really, I don't understand this part. Again, if you look at the transportation, the share of the EU transportation of oil from Russia has gone up from 36% to 56% since January to June. Who is benefiting from all this? And if we look at the strategic part of it really, who is to blame, NATO or Russia? And therefore, I think we need to have a better understanding of what is happening here, rather than having lectures and threats.
Yes, Ambassador Goel, just building on those threats, of course, Donald Trump has been cautious to put sanctions threats on Russia, potentially looking at the global effect that they might bring. But is there some acknowledgement that this is potentially the United States and the Trump administration's last roll of the dice before seriously looking at this Russia-Ukraine war? Of course, a war that Donald Trump himself said would be over within days after he assumed office for the second time?
Sorry, again, the connection seems to be bad for some reason. Can you please repeat what you said in the end?
Yes,
Yes.
Ambassador Goel, just to briefly summarise, of course, Trump has taken time to put pressure on Russia with these sanctions, but it seems that this could potentially be the last roll of the dice. And also, given Trump said that the war would be over within days after assuming office for the second time.
Pressures from Trump on different countries, again, that I sense a hint of duplicity. I remember that when Trump had come into that as a president, there were these loud noises being made about threats in China, purchasing those critical minerals from China, sanctions on the price, Ukraine, that we will stop the wars everywhere. Now, Ukraine, what was the objective? Basically, to get those minerals from Ukraine. And as soon as Zelensky agrees to let USA buy those minerals, the snorting and the steam and all that comes down. So Trump really had a limited objective in that. Okay? It was not to stop the war, but to really ask Ukraine to supply those critical minerals to the USA at a low price. China, we thought that basically there was a kind of a complete rivalry between China and the USA. But today what we hear is that the USA could basically deal with China. Therefore, I think we need to think the sanctions are not really a legitimate or something which in turn is really justified by the actual situation. It has become a tool by the different countries who can impose them to get their own objective. It is not going to work really. That ultimately, China, India are major economies. If we suffer, so will the USA.
Yes, absolutely. Ambassador Goel, thank you ever so much for your time and your insight. We will, of course, continue to bring you all of the updates on diplomatic pressure.